Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. Go. All right, that's Core Discord bringing us in. Jack, it's been a very, very, very exciting week in sports. A lot happened. We had the 5 playoff games. We had a lot of coaches either getting fired or signing up for jobs or whatever they're doing, interviewing for jobs. I don't know where to start. I know where you want to start, but I just don't know where to start. So I'm going to let you kick off where we're going to go.
I don't know. Where do I want to start? All I know is last week after we did our podcast, within the next 24 hours, Belichick gets fired and Saban steps down. So, I mean, those are the 2 greatest coaches in the sport of football of at least probably my lifetime. So, maybe even of all time. So, just eventful week in both the NFL, obviously with the playoffs going on and college football and all that.
And not just those two. Vrabel got fired, and they thought he would come here, and then Pete Carroll got let go or reassigned. So, Carroll's a great coach. Carroll's won both places.
We
right?
had known that they had gotten fired when we did our last podcast, so we at least got to talk about it a little bit. Like I had
That's
said,
true.
I thought that once I saw that Vrabel got fired, I thought, oh my God, they're 100% going to fire Belichick and hire Vrabel. But I guess not. I guess they've always had this plan of hiring Gerard Mayo, who had his press conference today, and I guess they just want to, I think the Crafts almost want to be like the Steelers or something, and, just keep this thing going, and they expect Mayo to be the coach for 30 years, honestly. That's I think that's what they think is going to happen here. It's obviously not.
I agree. And the funny thing, and we talked about this even last week, is you're never going to get what we had here. It's over. The Patriot way, the 20 years, even what Pittsburgh had, he was a little upset leaving the field as well. What's his name? I all of a sudden brain
Tomlin.
Tomlin was. But you're taking I think the Patriots take a big risk where they are. We'll go over that a little bit later in the show. We talk about coaches and where they could all end up and that sort of thing. But you know what? It's obvious to me watching the football games over the weekend that quarterback is the most vital position ever now. It doesn't matter. You can have a great defense, like Cleveland did, but you got a crap quarterback like Flacco has. Quarterbacking is so vitally important. So, again, when we talk about the Patriots down the road or wherever Bill ends up, you got to make sure you have a quarterback.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've known this for a while now, that quarterbacks win games in the NFL. And, you see that in the playoffs all the time. And once we get to – then again, though, I mean, do you say Brock Purdy's like this elite quarterback and he might win the Super Bowl?
We will find out. But then again, Brady won a Super Bowl not as lead quarterback.
Okay,
right?
Sure.
And Brock Purdy's going to run his system. And again, when we go over the games next week, Brock Purdy needs to do one thing is not make a mistake. And you don't know what you're going to get. He did it against Baltimore.
Yeah, but when Tom Brady won that Super Bowl in those Super Bowls, it was a totally different NFL that they were playing in. So, you did have more of a chance of winning without, the best quarterback in the NFL than you do today. Now it's there's only, 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league, it feels like, that can win Super Bowls.
I agree with that, but what if Brock Purdy's one of those 4 or 5?
Well, that's
right?
what I'm banking. I'm banking on the fact that he's probably not. But then again, who's he going to play? Who are they playing the next round? The 49ers.
Packers.
They're playing the Packers. So Jordan Love's I'm not going to say he's not. You can't classify him as like the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson level yet, because he's a rookie, and I guarantee he'll go into San Francisco and probably have a crappy game. He's not just going to dominate, win 4 straight games. So,
correct.
So Purdy might have a little bit of an easy path, especially with the GOAT Dak Prescott out now.
But again, why don't we save that for later when we talk about the matchups? We'll talk about the 8 quarterbacks that are left. We'll save that for later. Let's start off with looking at what happened over the weekend. And I'm just trying to go just real quickly, games from importance to unimportance, because I think there were 2 important games that happened last week, and both involving the NFC East. The first game that kicked off the whole weekend was Houston versus Cleveland. And again, Joe Flacco, C.J. Stroud, a rookie, outplayed him. That great defense that Cleveland supposedly had went up in smoke. Now Houston gets the right to travel to cold Baltimore to play the Ravens. So again, was it a quarterback play? Was it defense? Was it home field? How was the score that diverse or that much. How do they beat them down so bad when they didn't even have as good a regular season?
If you throw 2 pick sixes, if you get two defensive touchdowns, the score's going to end up being lopsided. Sure, but yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco's just at this point in his life, he's not a good quarterback at all. I mean, what you saw from him at the end of the year was an aberration. Like, he's not that good. What he was, he reverted to what you knew this was eventually going to come in the playoffs. You were not going to win 4 straight games with Joe Flacco as your quarterback and winning the Super Bowl. I thought, like, I'm not going to, again, this is C.J. Stroud. I'm in the same situation with him with Jordan Love. It's like, he's not going to win 4 straight games. He's a good quarterback. I'd kill to have him on the Patriots going, forward for the future and all that. But like, he's not going to win 4 straight games. So that game to me was irrelevant. I didn't really pay attention much to that game because I thought, neither of these 2 teams are going to win the Super Bowl.
So the question is for Cleveland, as we exit Cleveland out of the playoffs, would be Deshaun Watson. Would he made a difference? Would he been better? Would they been more competitive? Would he thrown? He looked
awful the whole year. So no. No, I don't think any difference would have been made. And like the worst part, like if you're a Browns fan, like the most suffering franchise in sports. Like, you traded all this and you invested all this for Deshaun Watson, who you really don't want to root for because he's not a good guy. And then the team that traded him ends up with C.J. Stroud, who is their quarterback for the next decade. So that's really tough go for Browns fans.
Or you could be Carolina and passed on C.J. and took the other guy. I don't remember his name.
They didn't just pass; they traded up for Bryce Young.
That's true. They traded up for him. Okay, so that first game was got the day rolling off, and the second game was the freeze game with the biggest fraud team in the AFC rather, the Miami Dolphins. Take.
The coach for the Dolphins, and I know like his players did not want to be there, but that you got to put some of that down on the coach and his play calling. He's not getting enough criticism for how horrible he was in that game, McDaniel. Did you remember in the third and fourth quarter when? First off, the whole fourth quarter, they quit the game. I mean, it was like a 3-score game, and the game was over. But you never really see NFL teams quit like they did. I mean, it was literally like I'm not complaining. It was the Taylor Swift show from the fourth quarter. And
that's true.
The whole fourth quarter, because what was the broadcast going to do? The Dolphins were not even trying in a playoff game. They kept throwing those screens and losing 5 yards on each screen. They couldn't do anything. Nobody was open. Tyreek had that one play in the first half where they scored the touchdown.
And they never went back to that. The whole game. They never went back to that.
Yeah, but that's because Tua did not want to throw the football. He just didn't want to be there. And like they have to ask themselves questions about Tua going forward. Honestly, who did he beat this year? How are you going to say Tua is a great quarterback? How are you going to say you're going to win with Tua? He was a disgrace in that football game. I agree. So is the coach. And so is the coach. And the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs, their defense, like those 2 cornerbacks, Snead and McDuffie. I mean, I forget who it was. One of them jamming Tyreek Hill up on the line. I think it was Snead who was doing it. And then McDuffie's in the backfield every play. Like, their defense is really physical and really good and just not the matchup that Miami wanted at all. Not the matchup.
Correct. And wasn't McDuffie the draft pick they got when they traded Hill, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It was either him or Snead.
The irony
got burned on that touchdown, though.
The irony, I know. And that was the big talk. The irony of that game was Kansas City had a lot of trouble in the red zone putting the ball in the end zone, right?
Yeah, a ton.
So you cannot go forward next round if you're going to have trouble putting the ball in the end zone.
You can if you only give up 7 points.
True, but I don't know if that's going to happen against an offense like Buffalo.
No, yeah. I mean, there was a point in the game where the Chiefs were like 1 for 5 in the red zone. They had 1 touchdown. And the Dolphins were 0 for 0 in the red zone and had 1 touchdown. They had the same amount of touchdowns. They got to figure out ways to put the ball in the end zone. But that game it was never a game. That game they won by like 30 points, 25 points. They could have won that game by 50.
Yeah, the funny part is, and again, you talk about the coach. It's really funny. You got Andy Reid there with the mustache freezing over, and you got McDaniel there with all covered up. You couldn't see him with a bright red nose. You're right. It's a psychology too. Miami went in there thinking cold. We come from warm. Don't these guys play in the cold sometimes though? I don't understand how. But again, everyone's playing in the same environment, and the Kansas City Chiefs aren't practicing in that cold. They're practicing in a bubble. So now we're talking about that. Did Miami even have a chance?
No, they didn't. But like you can say cold, and I talked about the cold a lot. Even if that game was played in Miami, the Chiefs still win that game all the time. Like they were just never going to beat that Chiefs team. They just weren't. They're not good enough. The Dolphins, they were who they were the whole year. They had as many wins against teams over 500 as the Patriots. Actually, they might have had less.
And then back to I'm going to harp back on the coach.
They had less because the Patriots beat the Steelers and the Bills. The Chiefs the Dolphins, they beat one. I think they have 1 win over a team.
Right.
Over 500.
Yeah, the Patriots.
So the Patriots.
They beat the Patriots.
Yeah, they're not over 500.
I'm kidding.
The Patriots had more wins over 500 teams than the Dolphins. So forget that Dolphins
Right, I'll forget
team.
that. How about this take for me is all these great young offensive-minded coaches that are here, are they just not what everyone thinks they are? They come in, they get in a big game, and they get a little muscle a little bit here and there. And, Sirianni.
Who won the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
I don't even remember who.
Sean McVay. So
but Sean McVay isn't like Sean McVay lost the Super Bowl. He lost the Super Bowl.
His team stunk.
But it didn't stink. He got a team to the Super Bowl and got a team to the Super Bowl again.
Because he's a good offensive-minded coach.
McDaniel hasn't what?
What's his name? Shanahan went to the Super Bowl too. They lost to the Chiefs because quarterback's Jimmy G. But you can't tell me these offensive-minded coaches stink just because one of them
I'm not saying they stink. I'm saying these younger guys.
Sirianni's an idiot. Don't compare Sirianni.
These younger guys.
He's an idiot. No,
I agree with you on that.
Don't put him in the class of any of them. He's an idiot. I wouldn't take him at Temple.
But again, I would take him.
No, I would not.
Not
even close.
But the younger guys, I don't know. I'm not sold on the Jared Mayo's on the defense side of the ball, but Jared Mayo. I'm not sold on these young, inexperienced coordinators coming in, and Mayo wasn't really technical coordinator coming in. I don't know. I think I would ride the horse of Andy Reid if I had to.
Who would you rather have though as your offensive coordinator, like Matt Nagy, like the Chiefs have right now? I don't come on.
No. I'm talking about head coach. No, OC. I'm talking about
the
head
coordinator's coming in, but I still think you're wrong. Who do you like? Who's your ideal hire then for the Patriots? Like, what was your ideal hire?
I think they should have gone completely outside the world. We'll talk about that later.
But that's like a coordinator that would have been hired.
It doesn't have to be a coordinator.
Yeah, but you're saying you don't
They
want...
could have hired the guy, what's his name, that was going to go to Seattle, got blown out by Green Bay.
Dan Quinn. Yeah, no, so you don't have an answer for that.
I don't have an answer because I haven't thought about it, but I think that, I don't know, you're hit or miss. How about can you give me that you're hit or miss with those guys?
But everyone in the NFL is hit or miss. It either works or it doesn't. That's just the way it is.
Okay, but I think... Okay,
I'm not letting you trash on these.
I think go with these young offensive coordinators, head coaches is hit or miss, and a lot of them, I would say, misses. And Sean McVay, you can't bring him up
again. The NFL has like 26.
Did he lose this week?
The NFL has like 27 good teams. So of course most teams miss on their head coaching hires.
No, 27 bad teams.
Yeah. The NFL has like 5 good teams. So of course most teams miss when they hire their head coach.
Okay, and let's go to the Sean McVay because you brought him up.
He didn't have a great game. He can't manage the clock.
Yeah, he did have a great game. He didn't have a bad game. Rams-Lions. This is my take.
That was a great game.
A great game. Best game of the weekend.
Yeah, good crowd too.
Good crowd. I love the fact that Detroit won. They haven't won since '92. It's great. I love the fact they get a chance to get a home game. It's good. I know as a fan of teams that have lost a lot that when you start to win, there's just something about it, and there's something about it energizing the city and the fan base. And God bless them. I hope they get there. I hope it's Detroit Buffalo, so we get a new winner.
It just sucks that they booed Matt Stafford's little girls.
What the hell? Where was that?
That's what his wife said. His wife said some inflammatory things in the past. She's actually kind of trashed on Detroit a little bit in the past, which Matt Stafford never did.
Right.
And they were booing her in like the luxury suites up there?
Yeah, the kids walked in, they booed.
Yeah.
That's what happened. The kids, hey, who'd Matt Stafford go to college with, high school with?
Matt Stafford went to high school with Clayton Kershaw.
That's it. You got it. All right. Good
Matt
job.
Stafford. J-Trev did say Matt Stafford. He's the original arm angle Patrick Mahomes guy. The original crazy arm angle throw. So shout out Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford in that game. We got to talk about this. Goes back to the game before the Chiefs game. That the NFL concussion protocol is. It does not apply to elite quarterbacks because Mahomes probably shouldn't have got. They probably should have had to call timeout and take him out of the game, but it didn't matter because they didn't get the play anyways, and they kicked the field goal. But Mahomes probably shouldn't have been in the concussion protocol because he wasn't showing any signs, but his helmet did get cracked.
Matt
Stafford was knocked out. And
he was knocked out cold.
Didn't even get checked out. It was one of the more crazy things ever. But he will always play injured. He will play with anything. I'll say this about Matt Stafford. He gets he maybe not anymore, but he used to really get a bad reputation. Even still after winning the Super Bowl, people don't put him on that class. He is.
Right.
He is one of those quarterbacks you can win with. He can play for my team any day of the week. Any day.
So he was beat by the guy who was traded for, Jared Goff.
Yep.
Who was a number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. Who was really coming to his own under Dan Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you made a point about Dan Campbell, the emotional part of it.
I got to apologize to Dan Campbell. I said he was going to get majorly outcoached because he'd be too emotional, but that was wrong. Dan Campbell pitched a very good game. He did at the end. They were throwing the football when they could have just ran it, and maybe the Rams would have got the ball back with a chance with very little time left. He was saying, nope, we're either putting this game away or not, and that's what they did.
So that's another team that has absolutely no playoff. Technically, the whole team hasn't been in the playoffs. So they're young. got a good coach. Quarterback's going to not make mistakes, and he's really improved. Goff has. So Detroit moves on.
They get a home game against the Bucs next week.
Yeah, they
too.
do.
I mean,
They
they're
do.
going to be favored in that game. They're the favorite to go to the NFC Championship.
God bless them. They deserve it out there. And you know what sucks the most, though, is that Michigan won the national championship in football. And we could either have, if Detroit makes it and Baltimore makes it, we could either have another Michigan team or another Harbaugh. So you have to make a choice on that.
I'm fine with the other Harbaugh, and I'm fine with another Michigan team. It's just that one dude, Jim Harbaugh, who's interviewing everywhere now.
Next guy I've got.
We have to root that Jim Harbaugh does not take an NFL job because one of our former callers into the show had inside information that he was taking an NFL job. We won't say who that is.
Oh, that's good.
It would be fun if he's wrong about that.
I love inside information from our callers. The next game, I just lost my train of thought. Thank you. Next game is the Steelers and the Bills. That was the game that got moved because of the snow. Everyone bitched about moving the game with the snow, but you made a point. Nobody was going to get to the stadium.
No,
anyway.
my point was.
But I don't know.
Well, no, the biggest issue was the people that were like, because the governor was involved with the decision, because it's like a state emergency type thing with the snow and the highways and all that. And everyone's going, well, my only thing is I just don't like the government being involved. The NFL should have made this decision with like the Bills alone. It's like, first off, the whole point was if you crash your car on the highway going to the game, you better not be calling 911 if you don't think the government should be involved in the decision, because who's going to save you when you have to get saved? So that's why the government was involved in the decision, because of how much of a disaster it would have been getting people to that stadium and getting people out of that stadium.
I have to give you a credit check. That was a really good impersonation of a person who's bitching about the government, by the way. I really enjoyed that. But back to the game. This is a Josh Allen game, we'll call it.
That was not my best Aaron Rodgers.
It wasn't, but that was your best, just a pissy person who doesn't want the government involved in things and doesn't understand that government's going to get you the game and back. But back to the Bills game, I would say that was a classic game of Josh Allen, but it was also a game where a crappy quarterback versus a good quarterback, crappy quarterback on the road, nothing that I didn't expect happened in that game at all. Although the blocked field goal and the score right before half could have turned the tide as well.
Steelers actually scored more points. I thought they were going to score 0 points and lose that game by like 40, so I was a little bit surprised. But the stat was when Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, they're like 17-0 since 2020. So I'm happy that he used that game to not turn the ball over, because you just know like he's going to throw like 3 interceptions against the Chiefs or something.
You never know. But he gets
we're waiting on Josh. He will throw up on himself at some point.
He gets to be on his home turf.
I'll say this about Josh Allen. Like he can play so good. That run was a farce because he did the little fake slide thing, which is getting very common in the NFL with him and Mahomes doing it, because nobody wants to hit the two of them. Because if you touch those two those are the two that's the new Manning and Brady.
That's
where it's
true.
like if you breathe on them, those two quarterbacks, they give you a $50,000 fine. So Josh Allen did that little thing. He had that great 52-yard run, but he should have gone. If that was a running back, you would get drilled there.
Yes,
you just get drilled in the middle of the field. You would not get through that. But what I'll say about Josh Allen,
what are you going to say?
his A-plus game might be the best in the NFL. I think his A-plus game might be better than Mahomes' A-plus game at this point.
Possibly.
Like, I don't know. He might be like, his A-plus game might be the best ever. It's unbelievable. Running, he doesn't take sacks. He's hard to touch. He makes every single throw. He has everything in his bag. Mahomes, though, it's like his floor is a B, while Josh Allen's floor is an F. So that's the difference between the two.
And again, they won the game against. They should have won anyway. Pittsburgh was not the greatest team that ever lived,
awful.
But again, and they were at home.
Mason Rudolph.
And they did. I know. And they won on Martin Luther King Day with Mason Rudolph. And they had
wink.
They had an opportunity there to advance and get a home game. After you think they were like 6-6 at one point this season.
Yeah, the Bills end up to 2 seed.
Yeah, they got the 2 seed just almost.
They're hosting the Chiefs in the divisional.
And almost like Detroit, who on that
year.
missed call, the 2-point conversion against Dallas, got the 3 seed, but now they get the home game because Dallas choked. So now we get to the 2 greatest games of my lifetime, of the year. The two top teams in the Eastern Conference of the National Football Conference, Eastern Division National Football Conference, the beloved Dallas Cowboys, and your beloved Dak Prescott, and the Papa Boyles' beloved Philadelphia Eagles. So which game let's start with the Cowboys.
Let's start with Eagles fans after the Cowboys had an embarrassing loss. We're like celebrating like they won the Super Bowl. And then after they lost, it was like, well, we didn't lose as bad as you guys did. I don't know, but like they were equally pathetic.
Oh, but did you see the one tweet that went out? The guy said, I know you're making fun of us Dallas Cowboy fans about the Eagles, but don't worry, we hate them more than you do.
Who?
An
tweeted?
Eagle fan tweeted that out.
Yeah, that's true.
They hate that.
They hate Sirianni just like I do.
That's the way they do it in Philadelphia. They just destroy people when they get pissy off. Okay, let's start with the Eagles-Bucks because I do want to close with the Cowboys. So the Eagles-Bucks. Eagles go down in warm weather. Quarterback with a busted finger. Defense hasn't played well all year. And they go in there, and again, I really think just like Houston, Tampa Bay punched them in the mouth, and they didn't respond. I mean, they haven't played defense, Matt Patricia and all, for the last 5 or 6 weeks. Here's a team that was like 9 or 10-1 who gets eliminated by a 9-8 team. So they go down there, and what the hell would happen? Is Tampa really that much better? Baker Mayfield outplays Jalen Hurts.
That game was predictable. Just the way the Eagles, like if you look at the numbers, they have been the worst team in the NFL. This isn't like hyperbole, or they have been the worst team in the NFL like the past 7 weeks. So it was predictable that was going to happen. I saw, Big Dom was back on the sideline for the Eagles, so let's put all our money on the Eagles because Big Dom's there. Yeah, that wasn't going to change.
Big Dom can't tackle anybody.
That wasn't going to change anything.
The
Sopranos-looking dude really was going to make the Eagles win the game in Tampa Bay. But yeah, no, good for Baker Mayfield. I think he's banged up. Jalen Hurts is clearly banged up. Jalen Hurts, like Tua, though, they're not as good as everyone says they are. But
they made the playoffs.
It is what it is. Yeah, of course they make the playoffs. But the Eagles, they were lucky to make the playoffs because of how many close games they won to get to 10-1. If those flipped,
true.
they would have been under 500 this year.
So the Eagles.
I didn't watch much of the game. I was watching the Celtics.
The Eagles collapse. Yeah. It's sort of like 7-8 Red Sox. They had that 10-1 record, and they were leading, and they collapsed. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Really?
Why is my phone ringing?
Yeah, the 78 Red Sox.
You don't remember those, though, do you?
Yeah, the 78 Red Sox. Dude, you realize like 50-year-olds don't remember that. The 78 Red Sox.
50-year-old. Your mom's. I bet your mom remembers them.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. Uncle Tommy, who was born in 68?
66. Uncle Joe.
So 66.
Uncle Joe.
Yeah, but that's okay. 66. That's older than. That's almost. He's pushing 60 though. That's the 50-year. I'm right. 50-year-olds do not remember the Bucky Dent home run. I remember when.
That's because 50-year-olds would be 1973. Of course they don't.
That's my point. I'm just saying how old your reference there was. It's
okay, forget that.
Do you remember when Willie Mays made the basket catcher?
Yeah, I do. Come on. You know what? The kids at school today were giving me shit about my age. Anyway.
I was listening to that on the radio as I was walking home from Catholic school.
We were doing conspiracy theory lists on the. Because you sent me that thing at school today.
Oh, my God.
And they were saying, I said, well, I was alive for JFK. I was alive for the moon landing. I was alive for 9/11. None of these kids were even born. So, yeah, I've seen it all.
Babe Ruth's called shot?
I was not alive for that one. I was not alive for that one, I promise you. But back to the Eagles, Jack. They're done. The coach might survive, might not. I know Laurie takes his time. But give a shout-out to Todd Bowles and his defense. I mean, I got to give a shout-out to Todd Bowles, my Temple alumni friend.
Hey, they equally are playing. They could be in the NFC Championship too.
Yes,
like they could. I would not be surprised if they went into Detroit and won that game. Now I would be surprised if they were playing the Super Bowl, but like
they could. Correct. And isn't this the team? I have a question for you. Isn't this a team that Tom Brady left last year?
Yep, we went over this. It's tough look for Tom. Tough look for Tom. I mean, the good thing, Tom played in a totally different NFL last year. The NFL changed so much from last year to this year. Tom doesn't even recognize the league. So, you know what? We can't compare the two teams from last year and this year. It's a totally different sport.
I'm flabbergasted. I can't figure out the big differences that Tom's talking about, though, Jack. He's gonna have to list out the biggest difference is the old frickin' man's not playing anymore. And he can't run. Now he's got quarterbacks who can move and don't get hit. So the Eagles spit the bit. Bucks go on. God bless them. Now we come to our favorite game of the week.
Wait. No, wait. So I think they went, since this moment, they went like 1-6. That's Sirianni yelling at the Chiefs fans when he's walking off the field at Arrowhead. Honestly, I think they won one game since that Chiefs game. And I think that was a game.
That was the game they come back and won in overtime.
No, but that was the Bills game. Remember the kid at the field goal in the rain? That was at home. I think that was the game where Valdez-Scantling just dropped the deep ball that he should have caught. No, the game that they won in overtime was at home against the Bills in the rain.
Okay.
You remember that? The kid hit like a 63-yard field goal.
Did they lose in overtime to the Eagles too?
No, not Kansas City.
Oh, I
That
thought
game
they
was
did.
not over. No way that game was overtime. Here, I'm going to see if Jay Trev's around to come talk about Dak and all this.
Okay, so we're going to go to Dak Prescott. So we're going to go to
No, so let's set the Dak thing up. Again, speaking of our big source who called in was the night before was going, whoa, I got this big thing. If I were an NFL bettor, I'd put a ton of money on the Packers tomorrow. And I was like, that's insulting. Packers undefeated at home. Like, come on,
Is that our insider better?
Yeah, you're just doing that to egg us on, blah, blah, blah. And then he was so happy. Dak attacked, making fun of Dak. And you know what? Dak did not play well at all. Dak did not play well at all. But he and everyone's get rid of Dak. What are you gonna replace him with? Mac Jones? Get rid of Dak. There's so many problems in that Cowboys organization that you can't just put it all on Dak. He did not play well. He looked like a puddle when he came out. He did. Like, they weren't going to win that game with him playing like that, even if their defense played great.
Okay.
But come on, with the Dak.
Okay, so you're going to
Jay Trev, who claims to be a member of the Dak fan club, he quit.
Jay Trev now. We have that set up.
I didn't even text him. I said 4 o'clock.
We're going to try. We told him 4 o'clock. Still before 4 o'clock here. Jay Trev, our NFL expert, Dallas Cowboys suffocant. Dak Prescott lover. Here comes the ring and diggy. So we'll see what happens.
Oh wait, there's big news today. The Harvard coach stepped down.
I saw that too. Tim Murphy, Harvard coach, 30 years to step down.
I don't know. We'll have to call Tommy T if he doesn't.
No, we can't call Tommy T.
Hello?
Justin, what's up, buddy?
What's going on?
This is, it all boils down to this episode. I forgot to tell you guys, episode 22, Justin. We've made 22 episodes. Hey, we're calling you about a specific playoff game that happened over the weekend, which was kind of funny because I think that the team got smacked right in the mouth. And we're not talking about the Eagles. We're talking about your Dak Prescott-loving Dallas Cowboys. So I wanted to get a quick take-up from you on the game.
First off, those were about 15 hours this past weekend. I'm not including the 3 hours for the Rams game, but all those games, those are about 15 hours. I'm never going to get back.
That's true. It's true.
Super WildCard Weekend.
So real quick, before we do Dak, what was the best game of the weekend?
Oh, easily Rams-Lions.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
Sure.
All right, so let's go to the Cowboys. I know you've had some exposure to the Cowboys in your lifetime through your Dave Borgante.
Let me start just real simple.
Oh, God, Jack's going to pontificate.
Should he stay or should he go? Dak Prescott. Everyone talking about get rid of Dak Prescott. What are your thoughts on those people that say you got to get rid of Dak?
I think it's misinformation. I think that's just an agenda.
Agreed.
And I think the problem there, it goes deeper than the quarterback. I mean, Dak, he shouldn't be excused for that performance. He had a really rough first half, but so did the entire team. And I think it starts from the top down with the owner and also the head coach.
Yeah, that team, they couldn't stop anything. Jordan Love, what's up with the Packers? How do they keep doing this? How'd they get Jordan Love? How is this working? How is he so good?
Yeah, so, I mean, the last 10 weeks in football, I mean, pretty much according to any advanced metric you look at, he was a top 5 quarterback in the league. The night and day difference from the first 7 games of the year to the last 10, I mean, and it went with the Packers' success as a whole team. They were kind of in the dumps, fighting for draft position, and then Love's improvement, kind of coupled with, LaFleur really finding his groove and understanding what he has as a quarterback, and the whole thing kind of turned around for them. And it's funny, they went from Favre to Rodgers, and now they they took this guy in the first round, so they didn't back their way into him, but it's just like it seems like they have the next guy, and it's good for them. It seems like they found the next guy.
Yeah, it just feels like that almost never works, though, taking like a dude in the first round 3 years before. And it did work out that Rodgers left at the time he left. And like if Rodgers had stayed for another year or two, I think the Jordan Love thing would have blown over. But back to, I can't stop talking about that. Like, Mike McCarthy, what are your thoughts on him?
I think you fire his ass.
Yeah, I think you got to make a change there. Again, I think that game wasn't all on him either. I mean, to play that bad, it's a collective effort. But, those guys right from the jump, they came out flat. So, clearly he didn't have them ready to play.
That's what I agree that Justin, they got punched in the mouth and just they wilted like a snowman on a summer afternoon. How about that one? So I think that's what you get with Dallas. I mean, you're right. It's indicative of the whole organization. But you know what? If didn't Mike McCarthy leave the Packers, and didn't he leave them almost like never won there either? And I don't see the infatuation with him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Plus, he's an offensive guy, and he fired Kellen Moore to kind of take over the offense, and they wanted to become more balanced. running the ball. That's something they didn't do under Kellen Moore, and they actually got worse at it this year than they were last year. So I think his, as an offensive guy, I don't think, he's at the level to where, for example, the guy he was coaching against, LaFleur, I think it's night and day, the difference in their schemes. And, McCarthy, I think some of his stuff's a little bit outdated. So if he's not giving you that, forget about his game management stuff, which we know is an issue.
Oh, go Jack.
Real quick, another guy who was involved in this debacle, Dan Quinn. He's got all these coaching job interviews. Would you take him at Harvard as the next coach?
Yeah, I probably would. It'd be a nice, cozy job for Quinn to finish his career. But,
Hey, were you at the announcement that Tim Murphy's leaving after 30 years, Justin, since you worked at Harvard?
Yeah. It's been somewhat rumored.
Yeah.
But,
it's a sad day if you think about it now. We lost in the Ivy League Buddy Stevens and Tim Murphy in the same year. And it's one of the leagues where the longevity of the coach really helps. And so now, are you up for the head coaching job? Are you interviewing?
No, I'm not one of the.
I have a guy they should call.
Skipping a few steps there.
I have a guy they should call. He lives in Maine. I know a Maine guy would really do a great job of that thing, but he might not have the ability to coach at Harvard. He might have to take like a high school job.
They should hire what's his name, Dib from Everett. He should be the next Harvard football coach.
That's true.
He's produced so many. He's produced a couple players. Real quick, we'll do some rapid fire questions. Who are you most impressed with in that WildCard weekend? What player?
Well, good. Can I answer that?
I'm gonna go Jared Goff.
All right.
He had a lot of.
No.
You really want rapid fire?
No. I got messed up by him. He said. He
said Jared. I'm gonna go.
All right, yeah, you do. We'll do real quick. Go. You said Jared Goff.
I go C.J. Stroud.
All right. What team embarrassed themselves the most?
Oh, this is a tough one.
I think there's three.
I think
there's three.
Yeah, go.
Yeah,
We'll slow down on this one because there's three I want to talk about.
I'm actually gonna go Eagles.
Yeah.
Because,
thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles.
I'm going to Miami Dolphins.
It's hard not to say Dallas. So those were the three that I'm talking about. Miami just played like a bunch of baby sissies in the goal.
Well, because they have that wussy kind of offensive coordinator, young coach that always sucks in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We had that argument earlier, Justin. I said the coaches they hire, these offensive coordinators, young offensive coordinators, they always suck and don't win. And he gets Sean McVay, and McVay's been there like for 12 years.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
What's
You're trash on McVay. He's a great coach. You trash on Shanahan. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's probably going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Hey,
the other question,
Shanahan was in Atlanta when they lost.
Will Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl in his career?
Justin?
No, not in Dallas.
Bill Belichick will be the next head coach of?
The Cowboys, and Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl. You didn't let me answer.
Yeah, I'll go Cowboys just because I can't see him in LA or Atlanta.
So you don't. So that means what you just said is Bill Belichick will not be winning a Super Bowl in Dallas.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, what do you think that's the best?
I think there's bigger problems than the QB and head coach thing.
Do you think that's the best fit for him?
In terms of a win now position, absolutely. That's a top 3 roster in the league.
Would you rather have that job or the Eagles?
I'd take that job. They have a better top to bottom roster.
Yes, I agree with that, Justin. I totally agree. Sirianni's not getting fired. That Laurie doesn't fire him.
Yeah, he probably won't get fired, but I would fire him. He's the dumbest, biggest idiot buffoon in the NFL. So that's all there is. Real quick before
I have another question. Rapid fire. Who do the Patriots draft, or they trade the third pick?
It's a good one.
Third pick, or they trade it and draft?
No, I think they end up with Marv Harrison. I think they end up with Marv.
Oh, that'd be nice. And then we got to get J-Trev's thoughts.
Nice.
Gerard Mayo, what are your thoughts on Mayo?
I was going to ask the same question. Good job.
I think so. It's kind of a twofold answer. I think he's going to be good. I think he's got the leadership qualities you look for in an NFL head coach. I think the guys are going to rally around him. My issue was the process that they had. They didn't interview anybody else. It's kind of been set in stone that he's been taking over for a while. And even if Kraft wanted to hire him, I feel like they could have done their due diligence and, seen what else was out there. That was my issue.
The good news there is they didn't have to go by the Rooney Rule because they hired the minority coach. So they got around that and supposedly had him in line. Hey, does Mike Morganzi get a job, yes or no? A GM job?
It doesn't look like it this cycle.
Okay. Eventually we think he will,
like
correct?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Next head coach at Harvard.
Yeah. All right.
Ryan Crawford.
Where's he from?
Hopefully,
He's Harvard's associate head coach right now.
oh, good. As long as they don't
He's like
take
Gerard Mayo.
I think they should take Temple's old coaches. They might win.
All right, two last questions before you go. So the big game next week is going to be Bills-Chiefs. Who's going to win that game?
I like the Bills.
Justin's got the Bills.
He picked the Bills at the
like
start
the
of the
Bills.
year, so yeah.
I picked the Bills.
My Super Bowl pick was Bills-Niners, so.
And you're sticking with that? And you're sticking with the Niners?
I'm sticking with the Niners, but I think the Ravens going to end up making it. I don't think Buffalo goes in there and wins.
Good. All right. Anything else?
No,
from
that's
Mr.
all I got.
Trevisani?
That was good to hear.
Hey, since I got Jay Trev on the line, I just want to make a quick announcement here, and it all boils down to this. Next week in studio, back Tommy Trevisani, Jim Boyle, and we've seen enough. So I'll make sure I get all that stuff out to everybody. We got Tommy back, and I can't wait to see that, Justin. Is it the cooler, calmer, main Tommy, or we get the Everett Tommy? He tells me I'm getting the Everett Tommy. He promised me he's going to be argumentative. So, Justin, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem. Good talking to you guys, and hopefully the games are better this weekend. That was awful.
They will be. They're really good matchups. They look like it. This week, the next week, and then the Super Bowl are just great weeks of NFL football games.
Hey, tell your Gaga I said hi.
All right, we'll do.
Have a good one.
All right, that's Justin Trevisani, our NFL expert.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. I love how he said, I can't get those 15 hours back.
I should call Tommy T. Tommy T. Well, can we call Tommy T right now?
Try calling.
Get a little preview for the show coming up.
Try calling Tommy T. That's a good idea. So, if we get Tommy T on the line, after we get him on the line, we'll look at the matchups for next week. Jack, we'll go Houston, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, Green Bay, San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Detroit, and this will be funny if we do get Tommy. Tommy's coming in on Tuesday with me. Jackson on Monday. We'll have all the NFL action. And Tommy, we're going to get all takes on all things because he's not happy, I think, with the NBA right now because Damian Lillard is not very famous. Anyway, what do we got?
Oh, yeah, Damian Lillard. And no, Damian Lillard had that big shot. He's like fifth all I saw somewhere he's like top 10 all time in game winners.
Yeah, Austin Harbor had a half-court shot, too, in the game on Friday against Medford. Melrose, rather.
Oh, why is it Austin Harbor?
Okay, who do you got?
I'm calling him. It's not really ringing, so we don't know what's going on. What are we going to talk to him about? We'll ask him what are we expecting in this new show.
Yeah, not new show. We're rehabbing our old show.
Oh, the premiere of season 2. This isn't working. I don't.
Okay,
think.
let me see if I can.
It won't matter. Whatever. If you want to text him, go for it. Yeah, no. About the NFL, that's pretty much it for the NFL. We
Yeah. Well, we gotta go. Okay, quickly, Jack.
Well, let's do the coach. So we asked Jay Trev about Belichick. I think the Cowboys too, just because it would be amazing. It'd be just a great story. I do think it's the best roster for him to go to in terms of the quarterback is. If you get the right guy in his ear, he's capable enough to be good. He led the NFL in touchdowns. He's second in odds to win the MVP right now. It's like he's not hopeless.
Correct.
He looks hopeless.
Correct.
He beat Tom Brady
Cowboys.
in a playoff game.
So I agree
Tom Brady
with
in a playoff game.
I agree with you.
But him and
Belichick
Jerry
and
Jones would be.
Yeah, but
it's just
Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells made it with Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
Same personalities.
Bill Parcells, same personalities, but it's still. I know Bill Parcells had Super Bowls. It's still different resumes and still situations.
That's true. Okay,
Bill
so
Parcells wasn't coming off coaching a team for 23 years where he had total 100% control.
Well, he didn't have 100% control 23 years.
Okay, sure, but
he didn't get
for
the control
majority
until
of it, he did.
06,
Yeah,
05, 06.
Okay, so for 20 years he had full control.
Years.
But that him and Jerry Jones, it's like Jerry Jones can handle. I wonder if he were to go there, would you see a different Bill Belichick with the media? Would he treat the media a little bit differently and maybe kind of be a little bit more lighthearted? And I don't know, because Jerry Jones, like Kraft was never talking to the media that much, you know.
The Jones
he wasn't
is all
standing
the
in front
time,
of a podium. What's his? Jerry Jones does weekly Monday radio hits.
Right. Kraft wants to be Jerry Jones in his next life. Okay, there are 7 openings, right? We got 7 openings. We got Carolina, Las Vegas, the Chargers, the Falcons, the Titans, the Washington football team, whatever they call them, Commanders, and the Seahawks.
But the first job, I would rather be shirtless at that Kansas City game like that idiot Dolphins fan than take the Panthers job with that owner.
I don't. That's the problem. But
that
there's
is
a
the
lot.
worst job in football.
So Belichick's going to get something, right? We agree. Belichick?
Yeah, I mean, he's interviewing. He's looking like the Falcons are having a Hall of Fame interview process.
The reason
back-to-back nights they got Belichick and Harbaugh.
Yeah, and Harbaugh's going to go with the Chargers. I think if he goes in, if he leaves, Harbaugh,
He might go to the Raiders.
No, the Raiders are going to hire that guy Pierce.
Yeah, you're right.
Antonio
Because
Pierce.
their best players threatening to get traded. Ask for a trade if they don't.
So if Harbaugh goes there, and Vrabel's available, and so Vrabel's going to end up somewhere too, and the Titans will take some.
I think there's a chance Vrabel doesn't end up somewhere this year. I think he might take a year off. What team do you see Vrabel going to right now?
Vrabel could go to the Falcons. Vrabel could go. Yeah,
The Falcons are the only one, and maybe the Cowboys.
No, I'll tell you the sleeper. The
But I
real
wouldn't hire him with the
sleeper. The
Cowboys.
real sleeper here is the Commanders, because it's an owner who will be willing to make it work.
I guess because
You
they
know,
do have
so
the draft pick.
They have the draft pick, and willing to make it work. But then that's Vrabel. So like I said, Vrabel, Carroll, Saban, Nick Saban, retired, does TV, right?
Yeah, they're saying he should take Lee Corso's spot. I mean, it's a seamless replacement for Lee Corso. I mean, like, to replace Lee Corso is impossible, but if you replace him with the greatest college coach of all time, I think that's a pretty good replacement. And
Yeah.
he's good. He's good at it.
Very
too,
good.
Saban.
Very good on TV. Saban is. I don't think he ever coached again either, right? You know,
No, well, why would he retire if he's going to?
Well, he might have just had enough of.
No, he did not have enough of Alabama. He was there for 15 years.
That's true. He also was thinking to himself, NIL, transfer portal, what a waste of my goddamn time. I've done enough winning.
Alabama had a true freshman, made the All-American team this year. True freshman safety. J. Trev said he's not eligible for the draft for another 2 years. The 2026 draft is when he'll get drafted. J. Trev said he'd have been the best safety in the class this year. He's transferring from Alabama, going to Georgia, it looks like.
Right.
So if Harbaugh leaves Michigan, Kirby Smart, who's he competing against?
That's true.
Think about it. Like, Harbaugh right now is a good foe for Kirby Smart.
That'd
be.
But you know
what?
what?
That'd be great.
You'll still have Ohio State.
I get that, but it's not like Saban and what Harbaugh has right now.
But again, Kirby Smart still has to compete with the SEC.
Agreed, but
and the Big Ten and the SEC.
I just think it's wide open right now for Kirby Smart if Harbaugh leaves. If Harbaugh doesn't leave, it's Harbaugh's sport.
I hate to talk about college, but the Arizona coach went to Washington. See that?
That's good because Washington went to Alabama.
The Big Ten, more money, that sort of thing. That's good. So that's what we have for college.
Yeah, the Big Ten's a better place to coach than the Big 12. That's the Arizona versus Washington move, which you really wouldn't think like Washington's a bigger program than Arizona, but it is now because of the Big Ten.
And I think football-wise, it always has been.
It has.
Always has been. They were a national champion, down James, all that stuff.
When were they a national champion?
Back in the 90s, 97-ish.
They were
co-national champions.
With who? Who's their best player?
I think I don't even remember. They played with Georgia Tech. I think they shared a national championship. Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck. Back when they used to vote.
Shout out to the NCAA football video game coming back out. NCAA, I think it was 13. I had a Georgia Tech quarterback. He won a couple Heismans. Probably won a national title. So
that's good to hear. All right, let's come back to the games of the weekend. So this will probably be the Instagram post anyways. Put our picks up and see how stupid we look. Let's go through the matchups first, then I'll ask you for a pick after. We'll pick all four right after all four games. Houston, Baltimore. Baltimore's first game of the playoffs. They got to go to Baltimore, play outdoors, play in the element. I think Baltimore has the ability. I think Lamar Jackson. I mean, I like to look at quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is probably will be Lamar Jackson 5 years from now. So I think Baltimore being at home, having not played with more experience, will probably be able to handle Houston. But Houston does have a puncher's chance.
I'm going to go with Texans. Why not?
No, we're not picking yet. You're going to explain why.
Oh, well, I'm going to pick why don't we pick? You just said the game. So
well, I said afterwards we will pick.
All right, you pick Baltimore. I pick the Texans.
Okay.
Why? Because I think they're going to win it. So look, they're going to come out flat, Baltimore, off the bye week, and they're not going to be able to recover. It's going to happen. It's happened before. Happened a couple of years ago. It's going to happen again. Watch.
Okay.
You watch. C.J. Stroud's going to ball out.
Okay. Buffalo, Kansas City, the game we probably disagree on the most. Who do you got?
Obviously, I'm going to say Kansas City. I mean, Josh Allen's due for a couple turnovers. That Kansas City defense is really good. It's going to be really, 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 really cold. Colder than it was in the game that Buffalo just played. Not as cold as the Kansas City one, which I think just the colder it gets, the more benefit to Mahomes. And even though Josh Allen's good in the cold and all, I think just the more benefit to the great defense in the cold. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Right. And I'm going to go.
We'll see. They got to put the ball in the end zone against the Bills, though.
Well, they have to. If they don't, that's why.
They also have to line up on sides.
That's why. That's the game, right? That's the Buffalo game.
Yes, that was the game. They would have beat Buffalo if they lined up on sides. So, Tony was inactive in the WildCard game. It was fantastic. We didn't talk about the Rashee Rice guy, rookie. Phenomenal player. He's the key for the Chiefs right now. Keep him healthy. Keep him healthy. You got a chance. Kelsey can't stop dropping balls. And then one more thing on the Chiefs. The other
I haven't gotten to go to the game and go.
The other receiver there, Mecole Hardman, he quit on like 3 routes the other night.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So
he's been hurt though. I
don't care. Then don't
so
play.
Buffalo, I'm going to go. I like Buffalo here. I have picked Buffalo to win the Super Bowl back in the beginning of the time. I got to trust Josh Allen at home, and I got to trust that the only problem I have Buffalo is that they had 2 big injuries, more big injuries on defense, but their offensive line has been really consistent all year long. And Mahomes has been good, but his offense hasn't been great. So, again, I think it's a close game. The cold doesn't determine anything. One of the quarterbacks wins, and I'm going to go with Josh Allen, even though I love Patrick Mahomes. Next game, Green Bay, San Francisco. I'm going to go with San Francisco all the way. I mean, you have Baltimore coming out flat. I think San Francisco and Baltimore, but San Francisco's not going to come out flat. I think the unicorn in this game to me is that CJ McCaffrey is the real deal. He is the difference, and that's going to decide it. And Brock Purdy will find him in a little flat. They'll run with him, as long as he stays healthy and stays upright. But again, the puncher's chance for the Green Bay rather is if Love plays the kind of game he did before, and they run the football and they control clock. So I'll still go with San Francisco.
Yeah, I'll go San Francisco too. Look, there's no way the Packers give that sort of effort again. There's just no way on the road if they can go win. Has it ever happened where a team went and won, well? Because no, the playoffs haven't been like it. But has it ever happened where a team went into the 2 seed in the wild card round, and then they'll beat the 1 seed in the next round, or what it would be because it used to be 2 buys, beat the 3 seed in the wild card round on the road, and then beat the 1 seed. The only time, you know what? The only time I could think of that happening. It's weird. It's Mike McCarthy. I think it's when Aaron Rodgers, as the 6th seed, won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it would have happened then.
It had to do with that, right. No, that's true. And again, you're going to go.
And Baltimore might have done it with Flacco. Might have been the 6th seed.
We'll look that up later.
You know what? It's happened more than you think. But those are Aaron Rodgers and
Flacco was a good quarterback then, right?
Quarterback.
So who do you got? San Francisco.
San Francisco. All the way.
San
Sure.
Francisco.
Like I said, they're not going to. Packers can't put up that performance again. They just can't.
All right, the final game of the weekend, or I don't know how they're running. I think Kansas City. Baltimore's the final game of the weekend. Tampa Bay versus Detroit. Probably the most, the matchup that nobody expected is what I would say. Detroit at home. God love them. I love Detroit, and I got to go with Detroit. I got to go to the little bit better quarterback, a little healthier. Plus, they're playing at home. The coaching matchup really goes to the Temple's Todd Bowles. But Dan Campbell and his boys will find a way to win. I think they really have bought into the whole atmosphere, and it'll be great to get Detroit to win. I think that, again, Goff doesn't make a mistake. Mayfield does, and we go forward with Detroit.
A coach that shows a ton of emotion versus a coach that shows zero emotion. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Detroit. Just them being at home, that crowd, they deserve it. Even though that's not like a qualification for winning in the playoffs, they deserve it.
That's a good call. I like that call. I think it is a qualification. They deserve it, and they're going to win.
Well, you know who else deserves it at this point? The Cowboys deserve it too. Dak Prescott deserves it. Oh, the little engine that could from Mississippi State. We're so sad. We're so sad, Dak. Oh, the Dak fan club's in shambles right now. Every time I think of him, I just get sad. And then I got that idiot texting about, the Dak attack.
Jack is sad.
God,
the Dak Prescott fan club has lost.
The good thing is, I don't know if I mentioned it last week's podcast, but the Australian Open has started, and Carlos Alcaraz is back wearing a tank top and just destroying people. So.
I love the way Jack just completely takes us from Dak to Alvarez.
Well, that's my fan clubs. I'm president of those 2 fan clubs right now.
Are you president? Okay, now I got to ask you this. Jack is a president of fan clubs. Let's go through them. Who are your fan clubs? You're who?
Okay, first, Anthony Martial, who's just the biggest, laziest bum ever, and he really betrayed me. I was the original president.
That was right. That's fan club of Anthony Martial, Premier League soccer player.
I'll say Manchester United. I will save the last one to our transition at the end. I was the president of the Khalif Wyatt fan club.
Yeah, there we go. Khalif, my boy. Okay, who else?
Tyus Jones from Duke.
Tyus Jones from Duke. I like Tyus Jones.
Look, I wish I could have prepared this for all the guys I've loved over the years, but no. Dak Prescott. Carlos Alcaraz. Jordan Spieth.
Jack has never picked up a tennis racket in his life like Carlos
Jordan Spieth. Spieth fan club.
Yep.
And that's about it. But the last one I will say, because I know you want to transition into this, I was the president with a lot of other co-presidents of the Mookie Betts fan club.
Oh, we all were we?
But
so if I had to pick Jack's number one of all those players, except for Mookie, I'll go with Mookie. Your number one, tell me if I'm wrong, Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, maybe.
You've been loving on Jordan.
Yeah, I root for Jordan. He choked. I don't know. My number one, man, that's hard. If I really went back, number one, it could be Khalif Wyatt.
Khalif, yeah, because you were that age. Yeah,
it could be like Tyler Matakevich too. Shout out to Bills. Just those are Temple guys. Oh no, there's somebody I'm missing. That
okay.
Just oh.
Okay, why?
Back in from like 2010 to like 2016, LeBron James. I was one of the biggest LeBron sexuals around.
Yeah.
Honestly, there
Good.
was not. Me and Jay Trev used to watch those finals games all the time, and we were major LeBron sexuals. When he went back to Cleveland, it was one of the best moments of my life. I remember sitting in our basement. Jay Trev, we're sitting there, and he goes back to Cleveland.
Awesome.
Oh my God, it was great. And the king returns. Oh, it was awesome.
Right.
LeBron James might have been my ultimate fandom, honestly.
I will have to say, this could be a whole segment. One of these shows we just
I'll
talk
come
about
prepared.
that.
Wait till I get prepared for
We
this.
definitely should do that. Hey, again, why don't we go right now?
There's a million soccer players. Paul
Jack.
Pogba, what a bum he is. The soccer players all betrayed me, honestly. Every single soccer player I loved.
What do you expect from a soccer player? Jesus H. Christ.
I expect them to
What do you
show up to
expect?
training and run. I don't expect when I wish for you to come to my club in the frickin' Trevi Fountain in the middle of Rome.
Oh,
for you
can
to
I tell
not
that
show up
story?
to practice.
Okay, so this is the best story of all time. We're at the Trevi Fountain.
get the video.
Jack gets a coin, and you're supposed to throw a coin over his shoulder, wish for something, right?
It's something. You know,
So-
I
so-
read.
so
It's
Jack-
about a wish for like love or something.
It's
to be
stupid
honest.
for
Yeah.
Jack.
No.
So
That's
Jack
what
and
it's
Amanda
supposed to-
both throw a coin over his shoulder. Again, I don't believe in this crap, so I don't. But Jack,
Neither do I. But you
Jack
gotta,
throws
you
a
gotta
coin.
have, we're
Jack
struggling.
throws a coin, and what do you wish for, Jack?
So I wish for this guy called I wish for Jadon Sancho to come to Manchester United.
Okay.
And I wish for Manchester United to win a title in the next 5 years.
Okay, so we were in Rome in 2019, right?
Yeah, Jadon Sancho ended up signing with Man United in the summer of 2021, and we are on the 5th year of winning the league. We're in like 10th place right now. But
Okay, you got audio?
no, I'm looking for it. Jadon Sancho legitimately didn't even show up. He stopped showing up to training. He criticized the manager.
Yeah.
We sent him back on loan to his old team. So the Trevi Fountain, if you go there, whatever you wish for, the opposite's even though it kind of did come true, it's going to turn your wish bad.
Okay.
It's going to make you hate
Okay,
your
travel guy Jack Boyle. 2019, we're in Rome, and he's throwing coins. Oh,
I
here we
wish that we signed Sancho and win a title in the next 5 years.
You didn't even go that far. What did I say there? Crazy.
Oh,
Hey,
jeez. It didn't even go that far.
yeah, because Jack throws the coin, it goes right over his shoulder, and splashes in the.
What do you want me to throw it off the building?
Yeah, you should have thrown off the statue there. No. That place was packed, too. We had a good time.
No,
that was wrong.
All I'll say is, like I said, when you go there, just don't make a wish. Don't.
You know, completely off topic, I have video of David Immendorf, if you're listening, Dave, of Cruer Discord, saying, what do you want to be in the future? You know what do in the future? I want to play bass in a band. I got him when he was about 10 years old.
Well, now he's the lead singer.
Now he's the lead singer and bass player, sort of like Paul McCartney. Jack, let's roll that.
Exact same thing as Paul McCartney.
Exact same thing. Jack, picks. Who do you got?
What do you mean?
The picks we just
Oh, I forgot. Who did I say? I said the Texans, Chiefs, Lions, Niners.
Okay, and I've got the Colts. The Colts. I got the Ravens, Buffalo, San Francisco, and the Lions. So we'll see who comes out on top on that. Got a couple minutes left here on the show.
I don't even know if I have the energy to talk about that useless team that plays on, what is it, Jersey Street now?
Yes, Craig Breslow did an interview with, I think it was who was somebody from WEI.
We start with Tom Warner's interview.
Well, Tom Warner, that whole I think I said the wrong thing about Full Throttle.
Well,
But that- I think it was better
you
than-
talked about war. You talked about players with high war. We're not. Like, what do you mean full throttle? You didn't mess up just with full throttle. Everything you said was a lie. Every single thing he said was a lie. We want players. You need star players to win in this league. I played on this podcast. You need players with
Yes,
high
you
war.
did, you did.
You need blah blah blah. You know, we really need. We know that you do need players. Let's go Red Sox. Let's go.
So
I
again,
can't stand this guy.
again,
and then John Henry
again.
won't even show his face.
Again,
Scheduling conflicts can't show up to win
I
a
agree with you.
weekend.
I agree with you. Again, then Craig Breslow comes out and actually confirms what we all knew, that they're going to be a mid to large market team, not a large market team, for the next several years. And his thought process is we've got these prospects of problem. We need to develop them better. And again, I made that point about pitching. But they do need to go out. I think that again, we don't have to go. We'll go on the Red Sox later.
You said something there. We're going to be for the next few years a mid-market team.
No, I said a mid to a large market team.
So that's what he said. But
said
they've
that.
been that for the past 4 years. So at what point, like after year 8, at what point is that your identity and not just what we are right now?
Well, I think
that's their identity.
That's what if that's what they want to do. That's what they're going to do. I mean, what am I going to say? You can't do that?
Yes.
I mean, the only way you can impact the change, if you want, don't buy tickets, don't watch TV.
Well, sadly, you own season tickets for like 40 years,
yeah,
and there's nothing you can do about it. You're
I
not going to
can't-
give
right,
up your
right,
tickets. There's a
right.
wait list out. There's a wait list that
You're absolutely right.
thousands of people are on.
You're absolutely right. But if you don't watch Nesson could kill them a little bit. It's not going to. I think
not
one of
watching.
the things I want to see, if I have to say, and like I said, they need to get, and maybe it's Justin Turner. They need a veteran presence on the team. So they need they just need somebody that'll help. If we're going to transition to Teal, Anthony, and Mayer, and whoever else, which are not all hitters, by the way. Hitting has never been the problem here. It's always been pitching. I want to see where we are in March with the pitching staff, and what are we throwing out against the world?
It doesn't seem like they're adding to it. It seems like what they have, they're good. So, honestly, that Chris Sale trade that we were pumped about ends up being like, we probably should have just kept Chris Sale because we need him now. Like, they're not going to sign anybody else. If they sign anybody else, it's going to be like James Paxton. It's not going to be Montgomery. So, this guy, John Henry, he's the worst. You know what? I just defeated John Henry, warning. I just defeated the Glazers. They're gone. They're leaving. We have a new owner who loves the team.
Sox are never getting sold.
I'm coming for you.
Fenway Sports
Group.
You're
gone. You're done. I'm coming. I am coming for John Henry.
Fenway Sports Group is not selling the Red Sox.
I'm the Grim Reaper
Jack
of owners.
Boyle and all this bloviating.
They're gone.
Fenway
he's
Sports
gone.
Group.
We talked about
Fenway Sports Group.
John Henry. Does he have kids? No.
Yes, he has a daughter.
Oh yeah, but she doesn't.
How do you know she doesn't care?
Okay, when he dies, who's taking over Fenway Sports Group? His wife?
No, that is. I tell you, the beginning of the end was when that gold digger. I should. Hopefully, don't go to John. I think she's been the beginning of the end of the problem here. She came in like in the middle 13, 14 era. Don't worry. Again.
You sound like Adam Jones on 93.7. He's a big he makes song parodies about Linda. What's her name? Linda Peruzzi.
Linda Peruzzi Henry.
Remember when we saw him?
Yes.
Kevin saw Brad Stevens. Like we saw John Henry. Yeah, we walked by John Henry. This is back when everyone loved John Henry. John Henry was the greatest dude on the planet. He had brought us probably 2 World Series at that point. Maybe it was only just the one when we saw him because we were walking up to the what is it called, State Street Pavilion or whatever, to go sit with someone. He was walking down with the little security guard. But no, he's the worst. He's the worst.
I think we had done 2 by then.
What does he do? Like does he have a Twitter account? Like does he go online?
No.
Does he go online? Does he read the newspaper?
You know what he does?
Does he go online and see what people are saying about him?
You know what he does? He counts his money. That's what he does.
At least
I love that.
We did.
You know,
the craziest thing is he seems like the prime Epstein Island candidate, but we're not going to Aaron Rodgers him. He was not on the list.
Okay,
so we got unlucky there.
All right. So again, we'll set a time up to do the Red Sox once we get through football and we have that dead time in February before March Madness. We'll let's see where he ends up. Like I said, I am gonna stick with Craig Breslow right now and hope that he can develop some kind of pitching.
I would like to apologize to Chaim Bloom a little bit because
get the hell out of here. There's no apologizing.
He was an idiot and all, but it wasn't just him. It wasn't just him who wanted to turn him into the Tampa Bay Red Sox. It truly was the ownership.
It's not. You can't apologize.
You gotta apologize.
First of all, I'm not going to
blame Craig Breslow for anything here. Anything.
Ever.
But you gotta take at least some heat off of Chaim Bloom. No, I did not. I did. Chaim Bloom, you're an idiot. I think
he is an idiot.
I think you're very bad at your job. Right? You're not the worst that's ever done it. And like John, I did not give enough criticism to John Henry while you were here.
Okay,
so
I
apologize for that.
I got 3 names for you.
So he who must not be named is now John Henry, and Chaim Bloom is now Chaim Bloom.
3 names. You ready?
Larry Lucchino.
No. Chaim Bloom. 3 names. Here we go. Connor Wong, Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs.
Yeah, but that's
shit. They got shit for the greatest
because of the way John Henry handled the situation and made it known that trade had to happen.
It doesn't matter. Andrew Friedman. Andrew Friedman robbed him blind.
John Henry
robbed him blind.
No, he robbed John Henry blind.
You don't think that the Dodgers have pitching we could have gotten?
He robbed John Henry blind.
No, he didn't. He robbed Heim.
If they played that differently, he would have had more value. Because John Henry also wanted to get rid of David Price's contract.
The irony is this.
Let me ask you this. That's why they got so little.
Let's say they don't sign. They don't make the trade.
No,
Mookie plays in 2020.
I'm not a hypocrite. I'm consistent.
Mookie plays in 2020. Walks. Listen,
sure,
the draft pick would have been better than the 3 players they got.
100%. But that was not his decision.
It wasn't. No, you're getting me wrong. His decision was he was told to trade him.
He did not have the option to keep him.
He was told to trade him. We couldn't afford him. We got to get rid of Price's contract. But what he got in return
That's the best he
is
could have got.
that is the
We're gonna get
abomination.
Bruce Dargratto.
That is the abomination of this whole thing.
No, he wasn't going to get better.
Jack is defending Heimblum.
Yeah, look, because I'm a realist. When new information comes to me that changes what I thought in the past,
Jack's a realist.
I will change my opinion. I'm real. I'm not. I won't stick to one opinion forever.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I was wrong about Heimblum.
It was
all John Henry's fault. It was all John Henry's fault.
I am sticking that Heimblum did no idea how to evaluate major league talent. That's my opinion, and I think he crapped the bed on a lot of things. I think 2021 killed us. We would have been better shape if they had been shitty in 2021. If Devers doesn't hit that home run in Washington and we don't make the playoffs, the whole trajectory is different because his idea would never work.
Not because they still wouldn't care. Look, they told us that they were going to change everything, their whole philosophy this offseason, and nothing changed. They've kind of said that for 3 straight offseasons. It's never going to change. You just have to accept that, especially with the way some of these baseball owners are moving and really spending. They're getting left behind. That's it.
Okay,
they're not signing Manny Ramirez no more. They're not trading for Pedro Martinez. They're not doing that
Okay,
stuff.
so
Even Chris Sale,
so
not doing
Mr.
that
Cohen
anymore.
in New York Mets, what has he done this offseason?
He has at least made competitive offers
but he's
to
made,
Yamamoto.
he made a competitive offer. What has he done?
He bought a ton of prospects last year. They're filling out their team. Like there's not much to be like done for them right now. He's looking for star power.
They had a $280 million salary cap salary, and they didn't win shit. And they dumped the salary, and they're still paying.
It didn't work.
It's because why?
Because it just didn't work.
I agree with you. It didn't work. But why didn't it work? Because the person making the decisions on the talent was incorrect in his talent evaluation.
Right, cool. I don't get what this has to do with spend. How does
That's
this make
Heimblum. Talent evaluation. You got to be able to evaluate talent. No,
If
you
you give
either
Heimblum-
you have a large chunk of money,
If you give
or you
Heimblum-
can evaluate talent.
Look, we gotta stop. We're
know.
never talking about the Red Sox because this goes nowhere because you make nonsense points to try and defend
bullshit.
John Henry.
I'm not defending John Henry.
You are.
I'm not defending John Henry.
No,
I'm
no.
trashing on Heimblum.
Your screensaver's a picture of John Henry. 100%. It has to be. What's going on here?
My screensaver.
Unbelievable.
My screensaver's a picture of John Henry.
I've never seen. He's defending John Henry like you're grateful that he's here. I mean, I guess he got you the 4 World Series. He broke the curse.
Okay, let's switch up. There is no John Henry on my screensaver.
Your phone.
All right, my phone. Okay, my phone. My phone is
Hey,
going to
no,
be.
it is because it's the World Series. John Henry.
It's the trophies.
Yeah, John
That's
Henry.
not John
That's
Henry.
John Henry.
That's
yeah, it
me
is.
and the trophies.
Yeah, well, my screensaver
That's
is
me and Theo Epstein's trophies, baby.
Alejandro Garnacho.
Oh my God, is it Sancho?
No,
Show it again. Show it again. There it is.
Garnacho.
Okay, we've had
Bicycle kick also featured on this show.
we've had a lot of fun.
It is. You're supporting his achievements.
Whatever. I love that. Okay,
I don't
so
even remember
so,
2018 or 2013. It didn't even happen.
I know.
He's
so
ruined the
let's
memories.
forget the Red Sox because we go nuts. You had said something you wanted to say for the end of the show. Do you remember what it was?
No.
I don't either. We're going to do as we do the wrap up. No, you said about 50.
Why'd you bring it up then if you had no idea?
Because you told me you had something you were going to bring up at the end.
I don't remember ever saying that. Honestly,
Okay.
I don't remember
Hey,
ever
wait.
saying that.
Let's go to the instant replay booth.
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
can.
pack that. Okay, so as we close, like I said, it's been a fun hour talking NFL and Red Sox, and I think we really need to explore who our fans, the players that we would be the president of the fan. It's a great idea. What do you got?
Oh no, my phone just played a noise when I was trying to clear it. Yeah, no, there's so many guys. Like even like I was like a Tyler Sagan fan when they first originally drafted him.
that's true.
Big Tyler Sagan fan. I used to love Rondo. Oh, IT.
Yeah.
I mean, what a Celtics team that was.
Oh, so why don't we set that up? I'll start writing that out. President of the fan club. Because I think you're right. Because I probably have about 30. Like I go all the way back to nobody will remember this because old. Burt Jones used to be the quarterback of the Baltimore Colts. I thought he was cool. So we'll see. There's a name for.
Oh,
Tom.
there's got to be like college quarterbacks. Like who's my? Jameis Winston. I love Jameis Winston.
P.J. Walker.
P.J. Walker, yeah.
Yeah, P.J. Walker.
Jameis is a good one right there.
All
Jameis.
right.
But now the problem with Jameis is everyone's on the Jameis fan club now.
Yeah.
Because he's just a soundbite waiting to happen.
He's
so.
just Jameis.
Yeah,
So,
famous Jameis.
As we close out the show, Jack, anything else you want to add?
I hate John Henry. I just
Okay, we understand.
You really got me mad.
I got Jack mad. This is awesome. So I got Jack mad. So again,
Shout out Jim Ratcliffe, doing good work already. Really connecting with the community in Manchester. So hopefully we have a turnaround there. Just terrible owners support my team. Wick Grossbeck, by the way, phenomenal owner. Love the guy. At every game, cares, knows what's going on. Just a fantastic owner to have. Shout out to Celtics. Really keeping us sane in this town. Really keeping us sane. And the Bruins, I hope the Bruins lose because...
Why?
Because of the Dak thing, and the dude who was insulting Dak is a big Bruins guy.
Okay.
So I hope the Bruins win. I hope they win the President's Trophy again and lose in the first round, just because it's hilarious.
All right. It's the recaps are always the best with you, Jack. I got to admit. So
I just get angry.
I love the recaps.
This is Everett Tommy T.
Yeah, yeah. We got the main Tommy. So I got a couple things happening here.
You gotta ask him about Cooper Flagg. Now they live in the same state.
Yeah,
that's gonna
true.
be his new favorite.
Oh my God, Cooper Flagg. Oh God, Cooper Flagg. We should make a Cooper Flagg jersey for him when he comes in on Wednesday.
President of the Cooper Flagg fan club, Tommy T.
No, Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah. He was cooking Bradley Beal and workouts. That just never happened.
We're gonna get this show hopefully out tomorrow too, Jack. So listen to that. We'll be back on Monday after the 4 playoff games. I got Tommy T. We've seen enough coming up on next Tuesday. I don't know if his buddy's coming in or not. On Sunday, we've got live basketball from Cushing Gymnasium. The Wildcats are taking on Belmont. We'll cover that on WCTV. A lot to talk about, a lot to go over. It's been a great time.
It's nice no longer being the villain of the Wilmington High School basketball team. That's all I'll say.
Good for Jack. So for Jack Boyle, like I said, that's my buddy over there. I'm Jim Boyle, and for It All Boils Down to This, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.